This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting, March 12th, 2015. Please join me in a pledge of allegiance to our nation's flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we would drop the wetland regulations discussion since Lee won't be here. That's it.
Okay. Do you have anything?
No, I do not.
Okay. Accept a motion to confirm the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have 5 minutes to our first hearing. Meeting minutes.
I have no comments. I have no comments.
Okay.
I have no comments.
I didn't either. I wrote them.
And accept a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any announcements?
Yeah. Oh, just that.
National Grid is submitting this written notification of the intent to conduct public utility maintenance activities. Gas main relay of an existing gas main on Shirley Street in Ayer, Massachusetts. The proposed gas main relay project is being conducted in order to improve customer reliability in regards to the local natural gas utility services, anticipated to occur in spring of 2015. Portion of the activity will be located within a 100-foot buffer zone of the wetland and within 200 feet of Nonocoicus Brook. There will be no impact to wetland resources area as a result of the project. BMPs will be implemented during the proposed project as needed. It's another one of those, we're doing this, we don't care what you think.
Right. We being National Grid.
Yes. Any accounts payable?
Thank you.
Yeah, accounts payable, we have two. Yeah. One is the Sun, but we have not received payment for this ad yet, but we might tonight.
Okay.
We could defer this until, I'd actually suggest deferring it because Geosyntec, we have to look over what they gave us
Okay.
anyways, so.
All right. So it's close enough to 7:15. Our first hearing is Mass Filing DEP 100-0381, 141 Snake Hill Road.
Hi, good evening, Matt Waterman with Tech Consultants. Here with me is Chris Valentine, the applicant, the owner,
Okay.
for 141 Snake Hill Road. At your last meeting, we had kind of an informal discussion where we had failed to properly notify the abutters. Just do a quick synopsis of the project, which is kind of located, I'm sure most of you know Snake Hill Road is a larger project to the south and east. And then the pond or the kind of beach is up at this end of Snake Hill Road. It's a lot, it's about just under a half acre with a wetland that runs through it on the northerly side. It's an existing dwelling with a detached garage with a paved existing paved driveway that kind of goes up to the door here, the access, the primary access that the Valentines use. They had an existing septic system. They don't know the age of the system, but just looking at the configuration of it, you can tell it's a newer system. It's not a cesspool. It's not a.
It was done redone in 1990.
1990. So it's a newer system. Part of this project is to connect to sewer. So obviously that's a benefit to the wetlands and the lot, and just with respect to the groundwater and the water treatment. There's an existing garage in the back. The proposal is for an addition off the back that kind of connects the garage and the house. We have architecturals that we can look at, both elevation views and floor plans if you'd like. It's a 2-story. Currently this is kind of a one story with a loft, if you will, but the Valentines are squeezed into with their young family, and they're looking to expand just for purposes of their own health. There's the erosion control shown in yellow, the existing tree line just outside of that. There is no real goal to cut any trees in through here. There was an existing older cart path that is kind of used here in the thought process with this notice of intent for access for heavy equipment. We strongly considered going this way, but there's about a 2-foot retaining wall that spans across the front of the property. And so, without destroying this stone wall, and you can almost see it showing up on this photograph on the upper right. This is a Google view looking down on the property. This is the street view looking at the property. And then they can't access it from here as much as they can in between structures, but there was a desire to get a heavy piece of equipment out back to dig the excavation and do all the backfilling, to the foundation. So my thought was, first we had drawn cutting the vegetation back and bringing it as tight to this garage as possible, but then looking at the street view, and unfortunately it shows up a little bit here. You can kind of see where not only the runoff kind of goes that way, but that's also that sweep where it goes into this old access that used to go back to this garage. Chris has no intention of making this a driveway or maintaining it as a driveway. He's tried to grow grass there for years.
4 years running, haven't had any luck yet.
No luck. Scott's lawn loves him. He buys a big bag of grass every year, but it's just such a shaded area that it just doesn't go. So my thought was, why not use this existing limited pruning? Obviously, we can look at it on the site walk, and then just keep as much of this, taking no vegetation down. One change that after we left the last meeting, we went over there in the cold weather and the 4-foot snowbanks. There's 2 larger trees that do come down with this project. And you can kind of see them on this Google view with the aerial. It is it's a 28-inch oak and then a smaller 20-inch that are both almost directly adjacent to the corner of this garage. So those 2 large trees would have to come down. And then additionally, this deck, which currently sits on the back of the existing house, will get detached, put to the side temporarily, and then reattached. Chris can answer any questions on how he's going to do that, because he's our resident builder and he's the expert. So the goal is, so we would have to update the plan to show these 2 trees to be demolished and then have the deck. We're hoping to kind of get the site walk behind us, and then if there was any other comments, we could incorporate those into the plans as well. But we did want to kind of add those 2 items in. Beyond that, the limits of work are just directly around the foundation and just feathering out the grades in a gradual sense. It's a full basement, but there's not much dirt to be excavated and displaced, so we don't think there's much change in the grades in the back, or we're not creating any steep grades that would change the surface runoff to the wetlands. The septic tank would be crushed and filled in accordance with Title V regulations, and we would connect to the existing sewer. We'd be happy to answer any questions. I know that the board would like to get out there before we deliberate, but we just like to keep the discussions going.
Where's the connection to the sewer going to take place?
Out in the front. The water service is in the right corner of the house. We talked to Chris, there's plenty of room to get the sewer service to change from here to here. I think it's a pretty straight shot to go from here out to the road. So there will be a pavement cut. I'm sure there'll be a road opening permit with the highway department or the DPW anytime you cut into their road.
Mhm.
So we would have to obtain that permit before cutting into the road, but for purposes of notice of intent, we have it coming off the front left corner of the house. The snow is receding out there. We can say that after yesterday's warm weather, but it's still, I think, probably about a foot on the ground. You know, around my house in ground, it's about a foot and a half. Still holding strong, but we're making some headway out there.
So, how does the slope go in front of the house where the sewer work is going to be?
The slope in the front is
Yeah.
very gentle.
It's almost level, and then you have that retaining wall.
And it's kind of a general pitch going downhill towards the wetland. There's a 235 that wraps around the house and kind of the front yard, but then there's a 232 at the driveway here. So it's the retaining wall is a 3-foot jump. So you've got 235 in front of the house and then a drop in front of the wall down to 232, 233.
Hmm.
So you've got a foot, 2 feet going from the corner of the driveway to the front door, give or take.
Just thinking, when you're doing your excavation there, where's the runoff going to go?
The runoff in through here, I think it generally is
No,
going to be
it's excavation for the sewer.
for the sewer.
Yeah.
It's going to be going you can almost. This looks like it's downhill, but I mean, this is, you can see the runoff going through here. So the runoff would be, that we tried to capture it with some trap rock here, in the erosion control. So our thoughts it would just run down the gutter line and get caught in our erosion control. Like you said, you can almost see the puddles that were left behind from a rainstorm right here.
Mhm.
And then there's a gully, and then it goes into the wetlands. Typically, when they do excavate, this is, they try to get in and out in a day, but, obviously the road closure and things like that, so we don't anticipate it being more than a day. They always backfill the trench at the end of the day. This is a 10 scale plan, so it's only about 30 feet of pipe to put down, so
Yeah.
it's not a really long run of pipe, so I wouldn't think there would be any issues with that.
Well, yeah, we always consider Murphy's Law.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the day you get 3 inches of rain.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's coming. Well, that was part of the reason why we kind of extended this erosion control out to the edge of Snake Hill Road. Because this kind of pitches this way now, and then it sweeps in. So, but this is all paved, but just the idea was to capture anything that might come this way.
Okay.
Some of the features that I'm going to try to incorporate is I want to take out as much as a paved driveway as possible. I'd like to replace it with greenery in front of the house as much as I can get there, partially to avoid runoff, but also just to have it so that I don't have huge puddles sitting in front of the house there.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we didn't add that to the plan, but we did talk about that after the last meeting, and I forgot. But think Chris is, he's kind of designing this some of this as the project progresses, but was putting in, he still wants to be able to park here, a car and a car side by side so you can back out without having to stack the cars, almost like where his car's parked now, and then the garage. But his thoughts were to put, almost like you see at the beach, where you just put the 2 lanes,
Got a couple
the tire tracks, pavers, so it would not be paved. And then removing, you're still gonna have a walkway to get to the stairs, but to try and get some of this impervious out of this area and get it. And I think it's just legit, aesthetically, from just where you're gonna have this, building, and then pavement. He wants to get as much of that pavement out of there as possible too.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would look better. Makes sense to me, but some people like
I
pavement.
don't want to shovel
Why not?
So I
it.
think.
Got one plastic shovel and no snow blower. So.
I know the feeling.
Snow blower.
He's already broken 3 shovels this year, so. But I did forget that, and that is part, and we can formulate that. I can talk to Chris, and he can sketch it up. And I think in particular, you're talking about getting rid of this pavement. You're still gonna have an access way. You're still gonna have pavement to get to those lanes. So I just envision, squaring off that driveway, so to speak, keeping your access, but then getting rid of this pavement in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's a reduction in impervious.
Right. It might be nice to just have that quantified, that reduction. That's just as a,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get the square footage.
That would, yeah.
And then we'll show the pavers along with the deck and then the trees to be removed. Those are the 3 things.
There's also a very large block of concrete up here that is, I guess it was the original parking space. So that's also going to be removed, but that will incorporate what the foundation, the new foundation will be. I'm going to try and, I'd like to keep it level with the existing foundation that I have now, which is technically considered a crawl space because it's 6'1" of clearance in the basement, so it's not a finished space, and so it won't be very deep.
And what's the nature of the vegetation along the cart path?
So there's alternating pine trees and maple trees.
Okay.
And I believe the 2 trees that need to be removed, should the project go forward, is they're both maple trees. You can see the canopy that they make right here. It's really just one canopy. One tree is devoid of all limbs, and the other one, so they kind of make up one. And some interesting features. Honestly, I really hate taking down trees, and I'm gonna take a lot of those limbs, and I want to actually make I like to do a lot of custom cabinetry and different things like that. I make furniture. I'll be taking a large portion of those limbs and actually making the railway that would go up to the 2nd floor. So I don't like to take down trees. I'd rather plant them, to be honest. But and I have a couple renderings here if you'd like to look. In keeping with the small design of the house, I wanted to try and keep it as short as possible while having an access for a 2nd floor as well. So I've tried to. We'll have a couple dormered sections. This is the front view. This garage is right here, kind of low. So it's not going to be a full. I don't call it a full 2 stories. There's not going to be an attic. I don't want to dwarf the existing house. I'd like to keep it as short as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that's told me about the project, they say, "Why don't you build a full 2 stories?" It's because I don't want to make it look huge in comparison to
Right, yeah.
the small 800 square foot house that I have now.
Yeah. Nice.
What's the existing garage that's in the back? What do you use that for? What's going to happen to it? I guess is part of it.
So I want to try and not disrupt it as much as possible. There's no plan to go back out there to like no road that goes out there.
Yeah.
This is all green grass, all from here
Okay.
over, and it's a garage that's wrapped right now. It was a wooden structure that was wrapped in the 70s with stone
Okay.
and concrete. The gentleman that owned the property in the 70s was a stonemason. He did a lot of really neat work on the. I was told that he did a lot of nice work at the cemeteries.
Okay.
He did a lot of the stone work there.
So that's just going to stay.
It's going to
Yep,
stay
okay.
exactly the way it is.
Yep.
It's basically it's the exact same sort of stone work that the chimney and the retaining wall are right now.
Okay.
So you don't plan to continue access to it? There's no
No,
desire to keep it like an access, a drivable access to
No.
it,
absolutely not.
which I think is important.
Mhm. Any other questions?
No.
I think I'm good for now.
Okay.
Sidewalk. Um,
So we still have to wait for the snow to melt so we can hold our sidewalk, which hopefully won't be too long.
Sure. Bring your boots. It'll be
muddy.
Yeah.
it's going to be wet back there
Yeah.
during this season.
Okay, so we'll just continue this till next week, and
Next
if it's
meeting.
not ready, then just you can send us an email and request a continuance. And we'll do that from meeting to meeting.
Excellent.
I don't mean next week, I mean 2 weeks.
Sure. So in a couple weeks from now, if there's no snow,
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not hopeful that I'm not going to count my chickens before they hatch, but be in touch.
And what would we want the corners of the addition area
Yeah, if you
staked
can
out?
mark the corners of the
Sure.
buildings.
The flag should be visible once the snow melts, correct? Or
They still are right now.
They still are? Okay.
Yeah.
You can see them.
And, probably the line of the sewer,
What's that?
the line where the sewer's going, mark that.
Just the pathway.
I think that'll do it.
And the 2 trees that are gonna get
Right.
slaughtered.
Yeah, we can find those. Those are easy. I said they were oaks, but they're maples. It was dark out when I saw them.
There is a huge oak tree that's right here. The canopy actually, I mean, you can see it. It covers half of the roof, and I have absolutely no intentions to touch that. I think it's amazing.
Sure.
What is the process for abandoning the leach field? Do you know what, Matt, do you know what that is?
Yeah, I mean, it would, depending on the timeframes for construction and the contractor, and ideally, by building this addition so close, you're gonna, your overdig for the foundation is gonna be so close to this tank. And once you pour this foundation, now your tank is not compliant. So one would think that it would be done, this would be one of the first things done with this. But we can get to the timing closer to the time. We can talk to Chris and talk to the contractor. But usually what they would do is you would keep this up and running as long as possible until you connect. But then once you make that connection,
Right.
you would just put it with the same tank and then crush it in place. As long as you punch a hole in the bottom and make it so it doesn't hold water, then you can just backfill it. And that's the preferred method.
Yep.
But as far as the logistics of when it gets shut down and when this, it'll depend on the sewer connection and the Board of Health, and if there's any, sometimes they'll allow this to continue even though it's a transition period.
Okay.
But the leach field would just go dormant and stay in place.
Right. And then that area is going to be just lawn?
Yep.
The original lawn? Okay.
Alright. You need to make payment for the legal ads for the hearings.
You gotta grab a checkbook, which is 2 miles that way.
And I owe you one, I'll bring one tomorrow
For
to the town hall for, do we have 2 legal ads?
2 legal ads
Yeah.
Yes.
total, yeah.
Yes.
I owe you one and Chris owes you one.
Okay,
I think they were 60,
62, 65 each,
okay.
yeah. So, Matt, you're bringing one tomorrow?
Yeah, or can I put it in the mail, or do you need it tomorrow?
No, I guess you can put it in the mail.
Yeah.
It'll go out in tomorrow's mail.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
And Chris, when are you,
Tonight, I'll come back.
oh, you'll come back?
Yeah.
Okay,
Not that far.
okay. All right.
So if there's no,
That's to the town of Ayer, right? Not
To-
Okay.
There.
all right, so I'll accept a motion to continue this hearing to our March 26th meeting.
So moved.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks.
Hopefully we see you on the 26th,
Right,
but we're not gonna hold our breath.
right. But you know, with rain this weekend, you never know how much it washes away.
So the 26th, and then the next meeting after that is the 9th.
Correct.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay,
I'll see you in just a bit.
okay. We'll be here.
Next, we have a discussion of Open Space and Recreation Plan Update Committee with Beth Sudemeyer.
We're going to try and get the screen to cooperate with displaying some maps that the Conway students have been working on, so I think there's one right by that. Are Lee and Bill not going to be able to make it tonight?
Yeah, Bill's sick.
Okay.
And we-
Yeah, so both of these could be opened up, I think. That's just the. Yeah, so this one. All right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to present to the commission a little bit about the status of our open space and recreation plan update process. We have convened a commission that was, or a committee that was appointed by the Board of Selectmen in December, January timeframe, of which your member Jessica Gugino is participating as well.
Mhm.
And I'm the co-chair with Jason Mayo from the Parks and Recreation Commission of the committee. And we've had a number of meetings and also have contracted with the Conway School to work with students from Conway on a practicum project for them. And the outcome for us is a draft open space and recreation plan update. And I think that most of you are pretty familiar with the process, the planning process involved in creating an open space and recreation plan update. But our most recent update had expired in 2009. It was a 2005 to 2009 plan. Right now, the Division of Conservation Services within the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs allows us to have a 7-year update, which is what we're planning on producing this time around. And the document itself is a really valuable tool in identifying opportunities for making improvements in, open space and recreation resources in town. And we are trying to make it a very public process to gather information from committees and town citizens regarding their interest in open space and recreation. And we've convened 2 public meetings, one in each of the past 2 months. And I think that there might be an opportunity to hold another public meeting at the time when we have the final draft of the plan available for review. Any final comments can be received at that time. The previous plan, was, as I said, produced around 2004 and 5, and had a lot of goals that weren't acted upon. So we're considering a number of those items again in this plan, and also, going through the prioritization process once again for this next cycle. And so these maps that we can take a look at really highlight, losing a boot, a number of the resources. A number of resources in town, which I'm sure you're familiar with, but I think it always helps to take a look at the mapping exercises and identify some opportunities that we might not have considered. And we definitely want to get input from your committee, and realize that you're very busy, and I thought coming to you might just help with allowing you to provide some input into the process. There, as I said, will be additional opportunities to review the draft. Next week, I believe the Conway students will actually have their sort of final draft available to us for review. I was hoping to have that this week so that we could discuss that tonight when I originally requested to be on the agenda. But with snow delays and things, their schedule is a little bit off kilter. And so we're hoping to have a draft of that next week that we can circulate for comment. But then the committee will be continuing to work. We hope that the committee will continue to work together, make some final revisions based on public input, and then we also need to do the accessibility survey, which is a component that the Conway students aren't able to produce under their time frame. So there's another point. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. We can take a look at some maps. I'd like to solicit, a little bit of input from you guys tonight if possible, as well as just providing a little bit of an overview and preview for you. Once the draft is available, then we can circulate that to you for input as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one's really just showing the water connections on a broad scale. You can go ahead with the Nashua outline there. You can just hit the arrows, I think, on the sides, or just tap the screen maybe, or actually the up and down arrows on your keyboard, or maybe right to left on your keyboard. Make the, there you go, yeah. So the wetlands are shown here, and of course the ponds, the network of ponds in town provide, very critical resources, key assets for the town, with Sandy Pond being one of our main recreational facilities with this swimming beach, and then the Grove Pond area being where Peroni Park is as well. And then with our primary conservation area being associated with Pine Meadow Pond, just north of Flanagan Pond.
How did you come up with all those potential vernal pools?
Those are actually a state data layer that I believe Heritage has probably compiled, Natural Heritage has compiled, but it is available through MassGIS, that data layer. And so the certified vernal pool is one that I think Lee had been involved in Takashi in compiling data on that, and as far as I understand, one of the other ones up there is likely going to be certified as well. Sitting close to the one that's at Pine Meadow Pond, yeah. Yeah. You like looking at these maps? They're pretty cool. You can fast forward advance. Yep, go ahead. Yes, I see. Look at this. So in talking about water resources, we of course need to consider our drinking water resources and assets. And so this is showing the blue is the aquifer areas with the hashed orange showing the existing permitted withdrawal areas of those aquifers. And then the wells are identified as well. Yep. So this is just looking at the permanently protected land and municipal land in association with our drinking water resources, and showing that there are some gaps that we don't have permanent protection of all of the well water areas. So if you guys have any questions at all as we go through, just let me know. You can advance. And again. So flood zones and flood hazards are shown here with the 100-year flood zone being in green. And 500, I guess, is the orange. Sit here. Go ahead. This is the actual PowerPoint that the students had used, and I just didn't have a chance to pull slides out, but this is just identifying the rare, threatened, and endangered species that are identified by the natural heritage. These are the three that are found in Ayer, and talking about managing for wildlife resources and how the goals need to be kept in mind about whether or not you're managing for a particular species or just wildlife in general. And I think that for us, there's a combination of interests in association with all native species, as well as the areas where these have been identified. They probably have particular management interests in mind as well.
Are those all on the former Devons? Or?
Partially, yeah.
Do you know where those have been located?
If you go, I don't know if I can't remember. I think that they are mostly at more documented areas of species listed. Yes, so the red sites show the listed areas. Shepley's Hill, Army Airfield, and then up around Snake Hill.
Okay.
The hashing there, this covers it as well, but the hashing includes biomap core habitat, which is something that Heritage produces for planning purposes, identifying critical habitat areas in communities. This also shows the vernal pools, again, wetlands. Prime forest areas are in green, and then the permanently protected land is shown in the pink again.
I can move it.
So these are the areas that the students identified as kind of critical areas from the standpoint of protecting habitat resources. And they are adjacent to a number of existing protected areas in some cases, in some instances, such as with Area 4, 5, and 2. It's a little hard to move, isn't it? Yeah. There you go. Sorry, we had to bring our little conservationist along tonight.
Right.
Yeah. You can do it. So here's just the biomap core habitat again, also showing the ACECs, the Squanatsid and Petapawag ACECs that both have a presence within Ayer and then continue into Groton and Shirley, as shown here. And then that just is identifying the wildlife corridor that is offered by means of a connectivity around Nashua River and the Oxbow National Wildlife Refuge. This one was of interest, and something that I hadn't really ever looked at was the natural communities and unique features that the state has a data layer for, and that up at Snake Hill there is a basalt outcropping that is fairly rare in this part of Massachusetts, something that's much more commonly found in western Massachusetts. And then also something that I haven't really seen is the green area along the Nashua floodplain forest that has been identified. And this is also showing some other distinctive and noteworthy landscape features just to the very north and south of town. So I guess that given, across the border into Groton, the distinctive and noteworthy features would be associated with the Strendon Farm property. So I imagine it's something associated with that. And so it's a good segue into farmland, in that farmland is certainly a resource that is considered of value and contributing to open space resources. And in Ayer, we've lost the majority of our working farms, but we do have a few remaining working farms that it would be really nice to see them perpetually in a state of conservation as working farms. So it's something that we could consider talking to landowners and farmers about, the future of those resources, and identifying whether or not agricultural restrictions or something like that could be put on them. Right now they are in chapter 61.
Side note, the Nashua Street extension, they've come to a settlement agreement with the state.
Oh, really?
Yes. As of today. So
Really? Is there any information on it?
I have some here.
Okay. Interesting. So here's the prime farmland shown in brown and the prime forest land shown in green. And then overlaying that with the permanently protected lands again. And those areas of interest associated with habitat that were in the previous set of slides. Just to start getting a sense of how there's an overlap in common themes and interests within the open space resources. Okay. This is land cover, but it's a coarse resolution data set that's available for the whole country, so it's it looks very pixelated, but still it's a data set of interest. Just in the interest of time, if you could fast forward a number of slides, there's a slide that I'd particularly like to look at, so just keep going. Well, this, just to mention that one thing that's been a priority in the past and is coming up frequently with interest in the survey that we've done of open space resources was that was one thing that I meant to mention, I didn't mention earlier, is that we did post online a survey for open space and recreation interests and resources in town to gauge the public's interest in different actionable items. And we have had over 75 responses, so it's been really well received, and we've gotten a lot of valuable information through that. And so this is just to highlight, the wonderful resource that we have in the rail trail and the interest in trying to identify more opportunities for linking bicycle and pedestrian corridors to the rail trail, to main interests in town like commercial hubs and the school. And I intend to have a conversation with Mark Wetzel about opportunities for looking at roadways and sidewalk improvements to provide more and better improved accommodation for bicycles and pedestrian users. So now you can kind of just go on through a couple more. And just to make note of the environmental justice population and where that area is identified in the town of Ayer. And this is something that we definitely need to keep in mind in serving underserved populations in town and considering whether or not they have access, equal access to the open space and recreation resources. And I think that one of the assessments that we're planning on doing is to do a GIS analysis of which areas in town, which residential areas in town have walking distance proximity to a resource and which ones don't. So maybe just a quarter-mile buffer analysis from all of the existing resource areas, and then that are open to the public, I should say, and then identifying areas that don't have such access, residential areas that don't have access. Might be a good activity for us to consider in determining equity amongst citizens in access. Impervious surfaces, you can continue to scroll through again. Touchy. Or video. And zoning districts, we can go advance through that. And again. And again. Again, please. Again, please. There we go. This is the one I wanted to look at. So this shows the permanently protected and town-owned properties. So I should clarify that they have it labeled as permanently protected, but some of these are town-owned properties that might have been acquired through tax takings and things like that and might not necessarily be permanently protected. We need to look into clarifying that. But it also shows the Chapter 61 parcels and vacant parcels as well. So some of them we know what the plans for those parcels are, such as at Pingree Hill, for example. It shows up as a vacant parcel right now, but obviously has been permitted for development. In terms of existing permanently protected areas, the Tooker property, which is now permanently protected, doesn't show up as permanently protected yet, but that's this yellow property here, which is in fact, part of the Pine Meadow Pond complex now. And then the conservation restriction that doesn't have public access, but is permanently protected, that's part of the Autumn Ridge area. That's not showing up as permanently protected yet either, but that's what this white gap is in here, or part of it, I should say. That you start to identify some of the potential parcels that could help to connect protected areas, and certainly some of the Chapter 61 lands would be of interest in considering talking to landowners about the opportunities for possibly protecting those. The Sportsman's Club as well is not in permanent protection, so that's another consideration of approaching them and identifying their interest in trying to get permanent protection of that area. And then this Stratton Hill development, we understand that has been it won't be pursued, and that the owner has interest in selling that area, so it would be something that the town could consider, even though a number of the areas have been cleared already, it might still be a resource worth considering. Jess had just mentioned that there's been some sort of settlement on, because this area is proposed for development, the Nashua Street and Pleasant Street extensions, as you've already considered before the board. But one of the things that we were identifying as a real item of interest associated with these lands is that there are 3 parcels here across from the school complex that would allow for a connectivity to the rail trail. And considering all of these neighborhoods up here that would then be offered walking distance to the school complex, and that, you know, is quite an exciting opportunities. We're talking about walkability and connectivity, and so I don't know if there will be any opportunities to consider that as these lands might be getting developed, but if we could identify just a corridor for pedestrian, foot traffic, bicycle traffic to go through there, and see if we could get that connectivity all the way through, it would be really exciting. So I think that'll be just the overview that I'd like to give you guys. And I don't know what time it is, but if you have any comments, anything that you would like to say on behalf of the committee or just as individuals regarding interests and goals and things you would like to be that you would like to see called out in the plan, I'd certainly like to hear them, and would welcome, you know, email communications or other feedback as well if you don't if you have thoughts later on after.
Is there a deadline
meeting.
for comments?
Well, right now we'll be waiting for the report, the draft report, hopefully next week, which will then circulate that folks can comment on.
Okay.
That will not circulate to the public. It'll just go to committees of interest right now, because we anticipate it'll be undergoing some future, you know, minor modifications, I would think, once we get a little bit more time to review it. But right now it's under an accelerated review process just because of the interest of the Conway student schedule. But we'll have more time to do some fine tuning and massaging after that. So these comments would be beneficial for the Conway students and feedback and any edits that we would like them to make. But then we don't necessarily have a deadline for the final draft and that review.
I would say when the committee has a sort of begins to start to really shape its new goals and priorities for the new report. 'Cause remember looking at the previous one that there were a lot that overlapped with the Conservation Commission.
Yes.
Or that would have fallen under us. So I'd say
Right.
at that stage, that would be good to come back.
And I think that will be next week. You know,
Yeah.
that they will have that level of detail next week. So, and I know that you guys are going through a staffing transition right now as well. But thinking about whether or not we have sufficient town staffing resources to be able to implement the plan is something that I think we should be considering and go ahead and indicate in the plan whether or not we feel like we need more support in implementation, because I found it quite, you know, disappointing to look at, you know, the plan that had been produced 10 years ago and to know that so little was actually achieved following that. And I really hope that we can build into this plan some mechanisms for trying to have better achievement of the goals that are within it. So if you have thoughts along those lines too, those are certainly welcome.
But I'd say once we get that list,
Mm-hmm.
then we come back and sort of have a
Yep.
working session jointly too to
Yep.
see what it is this commission could actually implement or help implement, and what we couldn't, or what we give targets to push the town to, you know, give more support to
Mm-hmm.
that the commission couldn't directly do at this
Right.
point. So
Yep.
I'll be happy to put you back on the agenda again.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments, thoughts?
Yeah, so the 4 broad goals that we will likely see are identified here, although I think the drinking water resource protection will probably turn into water resource protection more generally. And that there, in the last plan, was a sort of capacity building goal for the town to be able to identify opportunities for furthering these goals and, you know, implementing them. So that was in the previous plan, and I don't know if we'll still have that as kind of an overarching one that would apply to all of the other categories, or if it'll if there'll be particular capacity building, financing opportunities and things like that identified within each of the goals. I think it'll probably still be a little bit of a standalone goal because there is so much considerable overlap in the resources available to communities for these various goals shown here.
Any public comment?
Looks good.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Look forward to the draft.
Yes, yes, and it's been really wonderful to be able to work with the Conway students because, as you know, we're all stretched pretty thin as it is, and it's great that they've been able to do a lot of the legwork for us and get a really nice report out of it. So, thank you for navigating, and thank you for your time on tonight's meeting. You ready to go?
Hey, Todd, do you have
Me too.
to log off?
What's that?
Do you want the cheat sheet for logging?
Oh,
off?
there's a
It says something in the bottom.
logo. Wow. Okay. Let me get their file.
Who's on this? Backwards. Was it easy to get it booted up and going?
Yeah, once we have the password.
Which was in Becky's drawer, and I remember seeing it in Tucky's. He said the monopad, and I was like, I've seen that word.
Okay, well, I'm glad
So-
that you guys were able to put it together. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd say, yeah, go ahead and just pull it out of the. Great, thank you. Is it a full agenda?
Not really.
Not tonight.
Home before bedtime then, huh? All right, you guys have a good meeting. Thank
Night.
you.
Thanks.
We can figure out how to log off it. That makes almost sense. Highly.
Yeah, just don't lose that sheet. To make copies of it.
Oh,
No.
there. Pretty good. So how about log off? You shut down?
Well,
Just log off.
I think I'd have shut
That's
down.
all. Yeah?
Yeah. Because log off doesn't turn. Uh, well, or maybe.
Force it.
Hmm.
Yeah, we didn't open it.
Is that?
We didn't open it, did we?
No.
No, that's not our problem.
Okay.
All right. Accounts payable?
Okay. Okay. So I believe that's the bill for the first ad, which Chris Valentine just gave us a check for, so
See the first one and the second one.
that's the first one.
All right,
'Cause we haven't had one before.
No, it was his check for the first one and the second one.
His was for the first one, I
Oh.
believe, because the land tech screwed up on the abutter notification,
one.
so that's why they're paying the second one.
Okay. All right, so we have a bill for $62.65 from the Neshoba Publishing for legal ad for 100-0381. We have the copy of the ad.
Wait, what? Okay. It might be, that I've got to do. Okay. Copy.
They didn't send
Yeah.
it? They were supposed to send it.
I do, they didn't send, one. That's all we got from them, but I do, oh, wait a minute. Never mind. I'm better than I thought I was. So,
Okay,
okay.
all right, so I'll accept the motion to pay the Sun $62.65.
So move.
Seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's see it.
We have the invoice from Geosyntec
Mhm.
for the air pond assessment study in the amount of $11,781.
And we had asked for backup, material, showing, giving some indication of what their work had done, so. They had sent along some draft material.
Right.
So, did I forward that to you guys?
Yeah,
Did,
I
yeah.
saw that in my email that,
Yeah.
I didn't print it out, and it was a little hard to read some of the
Yeah.
stuff on screen. but-
Mm.
So the question is if we think that's sufficient to go ahead and pay the invoice.
What do their line items say as far as,
Monitoring, amount due this invoice $29. Pollutant loading analysis, amount due this invoice $4,230. Aquatic vegetation management plan, amount due $75.21. Grove Pond risk evaluation, amount due is $0.
so we definitely have the an aquatic vegetation survey, which is, I think, the biggest chunk. Oh, am I looking at that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the biggest chunk, so that's this. And then, this is called Ayer Ponds Watershed Investigation Results, preliminary drafts. I think this is, I could be wrong, I think it's the pollutant loading one.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's talking about stormwater BMPs being recommended for different locations, and they did have a map showing locations of conceptual BMPs that they would recommend
Mhm.
for those areas. So I got as far as looking at this map and then opening up this figure
Yeah.
that was very small.
Yeah.
Are we comfortable paying this?
I think so.
Yeah, would agree.
So, I have a motion to pay Geosyntec the amount of $11,781.
So moved.
Seconded?
Any discussion?
Nope.
Where would this put us in terms of the running tally for?
Total amount is $83,032, so Total complete to date is 44.33%. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And just a note, I didn't submit it yet, but I'll be submitting reimbursement for the MACC conference attendance,
Okay.
which was on February 28th.
Which point we go? Who? Do we know you?
Yeah, Bill Daniels.
Okay, office updates?
Don't forget Pingree Hill.
Oh, Pingree Hill.
Nothing. Okay. Is that still supposed to be on? Oh, okay,
It'll shut off when it's on.
it'll be, okay.
Is it the computer, I think, was on?
Yeah.
Let's shut down.
Hang on, it's pulled cord.
Okay, we have, at our next meeting, we have the DPW presenting a notice of intent for Stony Brook Pump Station off Westford Road.
I saw on the town website that the public hearing notice was posted as one of the announcements on the website.
Mm.
Yep.
And assuming in April, we'll be getting public hearings for probably Wendy's and Catania Spagna projects.
Right.
On the Willows appeal, had a message from Deshang Wang. He had wanted to know if anything was happening on that. They had not heard about the appeal themselves, so I sent them a copy. I guess they're supposed to have been given a copy, been delivered a copy from the appealers, but they weren't, so I made sure that was forwarded on. Nashua Street Extension, we got a long report on the pre-screening conference report, and then got something today that said they have now come to a settlement.
Ah,
So
okay.
if anybody wants to look at those, I'll forward.
I think I think I saw the pre-screening report,
Right.
which said that they would have another
And the other
thing
one,
on
yeah.
May 12th would be kind of
right, and now
final.
that's over.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just got that today at home, so I'll forward it from the
Yeah,
computer
yeah,
here.
That'd be great.
I'll forward. Had a request from somebody who's considering purchasing property at 99 Fitchburg Road, which is big
2A, right?
industrial, yeah,
Yeah.
on the way to Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he said he'd been referred to us by David Marr, discussing a property that was interested in as part of the process. It was suggested that he inquire of the commission if there are any conservation items related to the property. So I looked in our files, there's no, at least in the files that we can search, no orders of conditions related to that property. And I double-checked the registry of deeds. If you look at the deed, there's nothing, no orders of conditions listed. So, but he is within, does abut the Squanicook River. So it is this parcel right here. So, so all I wrote back was that it didn't appear there was anything that had gone before the commission on this parcel, nor a history of it. Just be aware if you purchase the property and were to want to do any new work on the parcel that involved ground disturbance within 200 feet of the river, you'd have to file an application for an order of conditions with conservation. And does that seem like a sufficient answer?
Where is this?
Fitchburg Road?
Which
Go
is
past-
2A, correct?
Yeah.
Is it
Before you get to Groton School Road, I think go a little bit past the U-Haul area.
okay? Yeah.
It's set off the road.
Because the Squanicook is not in Ayer, so.
Yeah,
except for where it meets the Nashua, so.
Yeah, well,
I'm confused.
on the Google map, on the Google it says. Maybe
If this
Google
is,
has identified it as,
This would be 10 right here, so.
okay, so,
That's Hanford's right there.
oh, you know what? Yeah,
This is the game from David E. Ross Associates, their buildings here, Ayer, Shirley,
okay.
or
Mm.
Stratton, Shirley Rose here.
I think it might be that building.
Okay, so that would be, well, that would be the,
Yeah, that's the
the
building.
Squanicook
Yeah.
would come in there, but it's the Nashua.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Nashua, okay, so that's why I was getting,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
and I wasn't thinking. Okay, so Nashua, yeah, anyway, they're in proximity to the river.
Yeah. Proximity to the river, do you know what so there's the existing building then?
Yeah, I think this is just an inquiry if they're planning, if they're thinking of purchasing it,
Yeah.
so. And the line along here, no, here is rail.
Okay, right, yeah. It's likely to also be Rare habitat, but if they're not willing to expand the footprint of
Yeah.
the area, then that's probably not an issue.
Likely, what habitat?
Rare species.
Rare species habitat.
And I don't know if that's within the ACEC, but that would
Yeah.
preclude them from doing anything directly within the river or the wetlands.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
But, yeah, if it's just kind of potentially doing something to upgrade the existing
yeah,
facility, building, warehouse, whatever that is, probably just riverfront area, I would guess.
yeah. I mean, it didn't sound like they were planning on doing anything. I think they just wanted to know if they were purchasing
Sure.
it, were there
Yeah.
any existing issues.
Right.
Um,
And warn them against cutting trees. Going back to the settlement agreement,
Yep,
there's a line back here, the signature by the Conservation Commission, saying it's assented to by the Conservation Commission.
okay.
So, only signature of one person, so we know what that's gonna be.
Yeah.
So we'll hold that, I'll put that on the agenda again for our
Yeah.
next meeting.
And you said you could or will email that around?
I'll email it
Okay.
tomorrow and put that on our agenda for our next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. There were a couple requests for comments. This one is the Catania Spagna. Planning board, we did a zoning board request also on that one. I was just going to write what Bill already did, which is based on what we know they have to do a
Okay.
notice of intent or, filing.
But that's separate from the DPW one, because
Yeah,
I believe in the legal notice, it says that this is in
that's just for
between,
location,
in
yeah.
between
In
that one
between
and the other,
Vitasoy,
Vitasoy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but they're unrelated.
unrelated, right. And then we also have one from the Zoning Board of Appeals, which I think is due today, but they said we weren't meeting till tonight, so they couldn't get our response till tomorrow. But for a sign variance,
Sign variance, Epic Enterprises, Copeland Drive.
They do have a new sign out there now
Yeah,
that I've noticed. I wonder if it was out.
yes, it is that one.
Yeah. What is the variance that they're asking for? The installed signs do not meet the 10-foot setback from the lot line.
I presume it doesn't have any conservation-related issues, so,
Because the wetlands were all sort of
okay.
off the road.
Yeah.
So I will handle that.
Okay.
Job posting, it's now on the webpage, the town's website,
It is?
Yeah.
Oh,
as
where?
of today.
As of, okay.
If you go into About Air, and the submenu for that is job opportunities.
Okay, so it's past the
Yeah,
internal posting?
that ended on Monday.
Okay,
And yesterday I asked Cindy to put it on our webpage.
okay.
And
Is it-
Robert is supposed to do the MMA, which is one thing we have to discuss too.
Okay. I didn't see it, will it be on the MACC?
I'm going to put that in for tomorrow,
Okay,
because I wanted to wait until Cindy put it on our webpage, and then
So
she
that-
could give me the link
gotcha.
for the long version to put in with the,
Yeah, makes
Okay.
good sense.
So
I
is-
know I looked probably 3 days ago.
right, yeah. So I was going to send that in tomorrow. So MACC, George suggested the Mass Society of Conservation Professionals.
Mass Society of Municipal Conservation Professionals, I think is what it is. Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, Mass Society Municipal, MCP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wrote down Mass Land Trust Alliance.
If it's free, I don't see why.
If it's,
why not.
okay. And I thought I'd just send it to the Nashua River Watershed Association.
Do they post?
I don't know if they post, but just as they're,
Sure.
it's just advertising,
Yeah,
word of
yeah.
mouth. And then I thought I'd just send it to a few local conservation commissions. For
Send it to Groton.
Groton, Shirley, Littleton, Harvard, Westford.
Yep, that sounds good.
Okay. Okay, and on the,
Especially because Littleton just hired
They
someone,
hired
so they
someone.
probably have
Oh, really?
ooh,
a file full of
ooh,
applicants.
Yeah.
And Groton had an unrelated administrative position posted, but they may have received applications from people who might be interested in
hmm.
part-time position and who might have the qualifications. So.
Yeah. So maybe I should also email the person directly in Littleton and ask if they've kept a file of,
Maybe, yeah.
yeah.
I don't know the new person's name in Littleton. So.
Yeah, it's on their website, so
Okay.
I can look it up. So in terms of, Robert said he would handle the MMA listing.
Okay.
But we would have to let him know, I think I lost the right piece of paper, how long we want it to run. And the MMA, it looks like we can run it either on their website or in the Beacon, which is, I think, once a month. Or,
Sure.
and damn, I lost that. Okay, and but the cost, Robert said that they would charge it to us. The cost is $95 for the first 100 words and so on. So,
Even for the website.
yeah. I think the website, if you do only one, it goes down to, yeah. So Robert said, yeah, he'll handle the MMA job posting. There's a fee which will be charged to the Conservation Commission. When do you want the ad to run? Date range. And so I said I'd ask.
And what is the
us.
cost on that?
Somewhere. Oh, and on the back,
So
on the
it's by content rather than the length of time that it.
right, wait, what?
Is that right?
Well, Robert asked for a date range, though. So, and he didn't answer my question
Okay.
about that. But,
That seems kind of steep.
Yeah.
and would we want it in both formats, the Beacon as well as the website, or just the website?
Just the website.
I would think so too.
Yeah. Whoops. And then it's $70 for the first 100 words and $35 for each additional block up to 50 words. So just as an idea of sample, this is one that I just pulled this one off. It's an ad that Westford's running for elder services, but that amount is about 300 words right there. So I think we'd have to trim our short version down.
Yeah,
So, permission to do that?
sure.
Okay.
Well, do we have it? Excuse me. On the excuse me. In the budget.
Do you want to should we wait for this one on 2 weeks? I can check on the budget. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, for the type of position that it is, going.
Well, yeah, we have money in the budget because we're not using the salary at the moment.
Okay, and it's all interchangeable, so we could put it to that.
I suppose we could.
That works. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it. I mean, compared to free, it seems pretty steep. But and in terms of bang for the buck, I think the MACC one would be
More bang.
more bang for
Yeah,
nothing or for very little. I would guess. I don't know what they charge, if anything.
Yeah.
I don't think they exist to support Conservation Commission, so I don't think they would.
Why don't I run that by Bill then tomorrow and see if he thinks we should just.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have a little bit of heartburn about the cost. I mean, obviously filling the position is important, so I wouldn't want to hinder that. But I don't think necessarily. I don't think posting on that side is
Not a good use
the
of the money.
highest. Yeah, I mean, that, in my opinion, the NACC would be the first place that we would want it.
Yeah, but if it's gonna be a flat rate for any amount of time,
Mhm.
Right.
I'd go probably like 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
If it was a flat rate for 6 weeks on the MMA,
If it's, I mean, if they're a flat rate, no matter how long it's up there.
or,
Like, if the cost is really just determined by the number of boards. then,
okay, would be okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll check with Bill on that too. On our webpage, I already had Becky's name removed, a few outdated links taken off. Have one more to take off. And I guess one thing we'll have to discuss down the road is the office hours, if we should change that to like by appointment, because town council has indicated I can't get reimbursed for the time spent doing Becky's work, so I'm not sure exactly how much time I will have to spend there.
Yeah.
So we'll to be discussed. I sent a memo to, there's this. I pulled it off at home, so it wasn't in the announcement folder.
So when town council says you can't get reimbursed doing package, that means everything, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's not fair. Are these on?
Yes.
I'll bite my tongue.
Hmm?
I'll bite my tongue.
Okay.
Okay, so Thursday, March 26th, 11 a.m. in this room, there's a meeting to discuss renovations of the former Hannaford's grocery store.
With
Reason for
Steve.
the meeting, Mr. Mulaney and Mr. DiGeronimo will be outlining any and all changes they hope to be making to the current grocery store site on Fitchburg Road. So you think you'll be able to attend that?
For what purpose?
I think I could.
To explain what they're going to do. This is from Economic and Community Development.
Yeah, I guess they're going to be upgrading it. Back when you guys did a site walk there a few years ago,
I missed that sidewalk.
I did too because I have my broken ankle.
Did we actually do a sidewalk? I thought we took his word for it and just approved it because it was middle of winter and snow everywhere.
You might be right. I know something came before us.
Right.
I don't.
Because I didn't go either.
I know that
so-
I didn't
Okay.
walk this out. No.
Okay. I couldn't walk.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So we go to that.
So anything we agreed to in the past does not hold.
When was that, the date on that?
March 26th, Thursday. So we have a meeting that night,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I did get back to the attorney for Rosalie Bucci that Bill hadn't gotten to, so he didn't respond back to my response, so that was quite nice. I sent Gabe a memo just saying that I gave him a copy of the minutes of that section of revisions that Lee went over, and then I also gave him a copy of the actual the state language
Okay.
on activities that are within the buffer zone that are now exempt. So I just said, since homeowners applying for building permits go through him, he's great at referring those that need to come before us to us, so wanted him to be aware of the exemptions. So we did that.
Thank you.
Anything else? I think that's it for me.
What about, I saw all those text messages between you and Bill this afternoon
About,
about your position and
oh, yeah,
the lawyer said that we can't pay her,
right.
and Bill suggested that she pull out tomorrow and never come back.
Which I can't really do.
Okay. Yeah.
I know, but I don't want to come in as often to
Sure, yeah.
cover.
I'm just wondering in terms of, I know the ad for this pump station, it said that documents are available in the office for review.
But it's set by appointment.
Yeah.
So I think if we change the website to say by appointment.
Yeah. The other thing we could do is see if we can leave them at town clerk,
Yeah.
because I believe zoning does that.
That makes sense.
Do what, Luke?
Leave them with town clerk,
Oh.
so people go there to review them.
Right.
That would be an option. But if you're going to be available by appointment, then,
Well, we can work it out on a case by case.
yeah.
Available, if not, town clerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Committee updates, community preservation.
Had our hearing for the fire station photo restoration project, going to town meeting with a request for up to $20,000 to restore the photos and produce facsimiles. All but one, they're going to produce facsimiles for actual display, but Northeast Document Conservation Center was aghast at the idea of restoring the historical photos and then putting them under fluorescent lights at the fire station. That would be throwing money down the drain. So this will be to restore and preserve the photos as they exist, produce facsimiles for display, and then give the photos into the hands of the historical committee for commission for protection or for preservation. And there's one big photo that's got like 13 or 14 small photos on it. And that one would be really costly to produce facsimile of. So that one they're going to put UV shielding on and stuff to preserve it as much as they can. And that will probably go into Chief Pedrazi's office. So,
Okay.
yeah,
So no one will ever see it.
right.
Stormwater, pond and dam, greenway, there's nothing there. Open space and rec,
We just had.
member updates, tax sheet.
I don't have anything.
Citizen concerns? Okay. If there's nothing else, motion to adjourn?
So move.
Seconded.
All in favor?